Hello everyone and welcome back to another great Super Cool Radio interview. I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before I start talking about my guests, just a quick reminder to thumbs up this video and make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you don't miss any new interviews or episodes. I got a really great band who'll be joining me momentarily. They're an awesome band from Oklahoma City, known as Like Before. On April 29th, they released their latest single entitled When I'm With You. The single sounds awesome, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. In this interview, we discuss how the band came together, writing and recording the new single, their favorite song to perform live, and so much more. I hope you enjoy this interview and hope you check out and support Like Before. But right now, let's dive into this interview.
Super Cool Radio!
Before we jump into the show, I want to tell you about our merch store on Threadless. Shop a wide variety of logos with multiple colors and sizes available for each design. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us continue to make killer content like this episode. Please visit supercoolradio.threadless.com or the link in the description to shop now. I got some great guests from Oklahoma City joining me at this time. On April 29th, they released their new single entitled When I'm With You. Please welcome Like Before.
Yo, what up?
What up?
Hey, everybody? We're here. Super Cool Radio. There we go. We're very professional.
And making up Like Before, joining me at this time, we have Zach, Alex, and Turner.
Still waiting on Brad. He ought to be here any minute now, but we don't want to keep the people waiting. We'll just go right ahead.
Well, I really appreciate it if he shows up. He is more than welcome to hang out with us. But I appreciate you guys currently hanging out with me here on Super Cool Radio. So I know we got a lot to discuss with obviously the new single and so much more. But before we get to all of that, fun question to kick off this interview: what has been the best concert you've been to, and the best concert you have performed at?
My favorite concert would be, it was, let's see, 3 Days Grace, Bullet for My Valentine's, and then Avenged Sevenfold. That's the first concert I've been to where there's actually like a mosh pit and like a wall of death and stuff like that. So, yeah. Favorite show would probably be the last Diamond Ballroom show.
The one we played?
Yeah, the one we played, yeah. We opened for a band called Smells Like Nirvana. It's a Nirvana tribute band. So.
Very nice. Very nice.
Probably say my favorite concert I've been to was Shining Down with the Pretty Reckless and Diamante. That was a really good show. And then my favorite show we played would either be the last Diamond show or when we played at Whiskey A Go Go in California.
That was cool.
That one was a lot of fun.
Best show I ever saw is the most recent one, Dance Gavin Dance at the Criterion. They had a few good bands open for them that were really good too. Wolf and Bear, the other one's escaping me, but Dance Gavin Dance just puts on the tightest show. The lights, just perfectly choreographed, just like top notch. And I think I liked playing at the Diamond as well. That's probably my favorite, opening up for Smells Like Nirvana. Because those guys were super cool to us, too. You know.
Smells Like Nirvana and Dead Original.
Right, man.
Actually, it's the same guys in each band, so it's kind of cool. They have the original band start, Dead Original, and then Smells Like Nirvana comes on.
Very nice. And we have a Brad joining us.
Yes, Brad. This is Matthew.
I'm Brad. Matthew, nice to meet you.
Brad, very, very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Get in a chair. I'm coming over.
Brad, thank you so much for stopping by. So my first question that I asked, and now since you're here, everyone else has answered, so I'll ask you. What has been the best concert you have performed at and the best concert you've been to?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Best concert I've ever been to might be Green Day at Kane's Ballroom. It was their first show back from COVID, prepping for a stadium tour, and so they decided to knock the rust off in front of 1,000 people. So that was a pretty cool one to be at. And my personal favorite concert that I think we've played was the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood. Rocklahoma was really cool for a lot of other reasons. And then various like smaller bar venues have been super cool for their own unique things.
Well, very nice. Really great answer. And I'm glad I got 4 members of Like Before with us right now. So going back to how did the band Like Before, how did you guys come together as a band?
John?
Well, we'll start with Zach and Alex. They've been friends for a while. They played in bands together for 10 years, give or take.
Plus, yeah. Over probably 13, 14.
Yeah, and then a few, 4 years ago, I got a call from Zach, who got my number from a mutual friend that I went to college with, and asked me just to be a live performer. I agreed because I just got out of another band not too long before that. And then a few months later, he calls and was like, hey, can you come help record some bass? And I was like, yeah, why not? I got nothing to do. So I went over there, met them, everything kind of clicked with them. And then in 2020, I knew Brad from playing with other bands, so we needed another guitar player, so I asked him, he agreed, so.
And now it's been 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yep.
All right, on. Very, very nice. So has this whole lineup been around for about 3.5 years now, the current one?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So I know I've heard at least there's a new single coming out. It's April 29th entitled When I'm With You. So for you guys, what is the writing process for Like Before?
I think it's kind of different with every song, you know? A lot of times a guy will bring in, I don't know, the shell, maybe a chord progression that they've been playing with. And we'll bring that, a lot of times Alex will bring a chord progression. And then we'll all start kind of jamming a little bit. Zach will bring some lyrics to it. I'll write a little riff for it. Things like that. I think that's maybe exactly what happened for When I'm With You. But it's a little different for each song, which is cool. Different guys will bring different ideas sometimes.
All right, on. Very cool. So you touched on a little bit the writing process. So who kind of originated the idea for When I'm With You?
Well, so Alex, and a lot of the songs, he kind of came up with all the guitar. So he had the whole song wrote out in guitar. He brought that, and then we kind of messed with the arrangement of it and how long and everything. And then I wrote the lyrics for it. So it's a song, it kind of seems like about a girl. It's kind of more of a hidden meaning behind it, kind of. That's most songs, it seems like. Even if you try to write a song about something else, I feel 90% of the time people just assume it's about a girl, So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know, that is the kind of the subjective nature of music is, a lot of people can take it many different ways. And honestly, a lot of people kind of assume, some of the songs are just breakup songs or about about a girl or something, as you said. So there's kind of those assumptions when people listen to some certain types of music with certain type of vibes to it.
Yeah.
So for sure. So now, for you guys, you kind of touched on a little bit, but for you guys, so what can people expect musically from When I'm With You?
I mean, I was listening to a lot of at the time, like Microwave and Nirvana, just like anybody that kind of, I mean, Nirvana of course, but like I've always liked grunge and like, I don't know, like a kind of a poppy sound, like catchy but not entirely ununique. Like it shouldn't sound exactly like something you've heard before, but I still, I guess when I was playing around with it, I tried to arrange it in a way that made it like easily accessible, but still had like Brad, is wailing a cool solo on it, and Zach does pretty much all the lyrics, especially for my songs. I don't do lyrics at all, but I don't know. A lot of my songs kind of just end up sounding like what I'm listening to at the same time as like when I'm kind of messing around with them. And Microwave was huge at that time. I couldn't stop playing that song "Lighterless" by them.
I think when I'm with you, it's like it's a pretty catchy song, or at least I feel like it is. And it's pretty like the main guitar progression for like the verses. I feel like it's pretty driven by that and like the drum beat. And there's some fun little bass like lines in there that Turner's doing. But yeah, I feel like it's a pretty catchy rock song. So we're pretty excited for everybody to hear the produced version. It's definitely our best like, production so far.
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to listen to it. I really did, as you said. It has that kind of poppy catchiness to it, but also at times it can really rock at the same time.
Thank you, Matthew.
That's definitely just kind of what I like. I think all of us, I mean, we have different tastes for sure that get further away, but it came out that way, like kind of poppy, and it came out that way just because that's what we like, not necessarily because it wasn't contrived. It's just what we all kind of agree on. Like, hey, yeah, that sounds good.
We all listen to like there's a handful of bands that we all really like, but then most of the bands that Zach likes, Alex doesn't, and vice versa. And then like there's a couple things that Turner and I are into that they're not. And there's some common ground, but for the most part, we all have pretty unique like bands that we love.
Yeah, they don't like Dean Martin.
I don't know why not. I don't know why you're hating on Dean Martin, anyone, but hey, that's all
I
right.
don't know either.
We only hate on it because at 3 a.m. on the way home from a show, Zach's just screaming Dean Martin on the bus.
He likes to croon to it,
Oh my!
but I'll throw on.
Well, at least that's a justifiable reason. I can understand that. But I did want to talk about. I've heard for this single, it was produced by Trent Bell. Is that correct?
Yep.
So how did you guys get connected with Trent Bell?
We were shopping around for who was going to produce our next project, and this had been, I guess, early 2021, and we went and met with Trent, and we ended up going with another guy who did our last EP, and then when it was time to record again, we were like, we should try out Trent. And we reached out again, went and met up with him, showed him the songs that we were looking at recording, which ended up being, we're going to do 5, and most of the ones we were going to record, we ended up not recording. We did a whole separate set of songs. But yeah, so we got in with Trent, and it was a great experience. He had a lot of great input and ideas, and maybe try this or don't try that, and it ended up being super helpful for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he used to play in a band called Chainsaw Kittens back in the 90s. And so that's kind of cool hearing his stories because he got to meet a lot of the grunge, Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana and stuff like that at the time.
And he was there. I mean, like he said that one of them like opened for their band. It was like something Smashing Pumpkins.
It was Green Day.
Or Green Day.
Everclear.
I think Green Day opened up for them, at one point.
At that time, like Chainsaw Kittens was, as big, if not bigger, than all those bands kind of coming up, and it was wild. That's like the hardest part about working with somebody that cool who has that many
It's a monster.
stories is like you're there to work on this song, but you just can't help but be like, what was that like, man? I mean, what was so and so like? I mean, but Trent's the man for sure, and he.
I'm sorry.
The producer always kind of, at least I think, should end up being an extra member to the band.
It's like the fifth Beatle.
We kind of want their flavor and taste, to come through in the song as well.
Yeah, for sure. The producer, it helps, kind of build the sound. Obviously you guys produce the sound, we're playing it, but he helps bring the song out more, highlight, and add and just build upon what you guys already recorded. So it's very vital member and of the team and of the recording process. But for you, especially having a great musician like Trent Bell, what was some of the biggest things you learned from working with him?
Something I really liked that Trent did is, Alex was tracking some drums, and there was some parts that maybe had a lot of ghost notes that he was playing.
That's what I was gonna say.
and Trent was like, maybe don't play so many ghost notes. And then we got back into the control room, and we were kind of having a conversation about that. And he was like, what are the 3 songs you're listening to the most right now? And Alex told him this song, and this song. And we pulled them up, and there's 0 ghost notes, and the fills that were the fills for the song are way they were just simpler than what you would expect. And so we kind of dialed back some of the stuff that we were doing in those parts. But it was just a different thinking process. You're you see, this is what you love, and this is how they do it, so we'll try it this way. And that was helpful.
Yeah. I mean, too many ghost notes for sure is for me, a bad habit. That and just too many crash hits, stuff like that. Not being, I guess the bad habit is not being ultra intentional with what you're doing, really knowing exactly. We've gone into the studio, a handful of times now, Zach and I for sure, and Trent finally got me to think about, he's like, exactly what are you doing? And that saved you time and cash in the studio too. So yeah, I definitely graduated. There was I'll be done in a second, but there was a story of Dave Grohl playing with his bass player in his book, and the bass player was like, we're going to sit here and you're going to play this same simple beat an hour over and over and just play it 1, 2, and stuff like that kind of breaks you of just, wow, hitting everything all at once.
Yeah, for sure. You guys want to add anything else to that, or?
He had a lot of great suggestions on the way I was singing the songs for sure. The yell in it was really came about from him, kind of showing me what to do. The scream, he kind of helped on as well. Those were good. And he had a lot of extra little guitar parts that we threw in there that were his suggestions and stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. And the way we played the guitars was different. What do you think, Turner?
For me, I play with a pick on some songs. So in the studio, I would always play kind of sideways almost with the pick. And he was telling me to play more up and down so it gets less of the scratching sound of the pick, which I've never thought about whenever I play. So it was bad sound. That was a bad sound, but yeah.
No, right on. Sounds like you guys had a really great experience and learned quite a bit from working with Trent.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Trent's the man.
Trent's the man.
So for kind of next kind of couple releases, do you plan to work with him again?
So we've got 3 songs tracked with Trent right now. The first one being "When I'm With You," coming out this weekend, and then the next 2 will be Trent, and there's probably we'll release in June and maybe August or something like that. But going forward, we'd like to record with Trent again. Time will tell.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No,
just
no,
it finally, because we've released songs 3 times, it's our 3rd time. It finally seemed to hit all the marks we were looking for. So yeah, hopefully it continues to keep doing that. You know, the hanging out with him was very cool, and then the quality of the song came back, and some of us can tend to be very particular, and when you get the song back, and so he was very open for working on those things. You know, even though we'd already signed off on the song. You know, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like, again, you guys had a really great experience, and I do hope you guys kind of just build off what you guys have learned, you know, the sound you guys are going for, and all that with the future releases as well.
Thank you, man.
And I did want to talk about you guys' live show aspect, but before we get to that, I see there's been a cat throughout this whole video. Whose cat is that, and what is its name?
That's Gypsy. That's my cat. Yeah, we got 3 of them running around and 3 cats, and so I had told my wife we were no more than 4 animals, so we have 6. So naturally, you know. So.
Zach has a little bit of a funny farm.
So I will be honest. So I did bring the last 2 in. So.
Very nice, very nice. I have a cat, but I'm very lucky that my previous cat would have like bothered me the whole time if I was doing an interview. But the current cat I have, she's way more relaxed and chill, and like she just sleeps when I do these, so it's very nice.
I have 6 very clingy animals, all 6 of them. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that while before we moved on to the live show. So, for you guys, what is your favorite song to perform live?
My favorite original song to play is a song called Red that we play. I really like that song. When I'm With You has been a lot of fun. And our song that's going to come out in a few months called Sunset Dreams, I really like too.
That's part of the game you play. It's easy to get the crowd involved. We have like a crowd participation, like chant, especially for these bigger shows. It's easier to do. I mean, we don't always do it when we're in a dive bar with 2 people watching us, but.
Favorite song? I'd probably say it would be The Game You Play or When I'm With You. Are definitely probably my 2 favorite ones to play.
Oh, Still Going's good too. That was new.
Oh, yeah, we got a new one.
Alex?
Michael.
I don't know. It changes all the time. Definitely. I don't know why. Sometimes you just kind of think of something to do in a song that you've been playing for 3 years, and then it becomes, you know, sometimes it's Red, sometimes it's Game You Play, sometimes it's I mean, I guess average is Thoughts. That's probably my favorite one that is on our Spotify. It's a long one, but man, I don't know, that one has like history. I remember Zach playing that song for me, like it had to be 14 years ago. No, well, 12 at least, before we formed a band.
Yeah,
you know, he showed me that song.
He used to do a knock on the acoustic.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we got like a dance version of it. The singing stops at 3 minutes, but the song ends at 6. You know, so
it's a cool ender.
It's got a big, like, drawn out guitar solo.
Dueling guitar solos.
Nice. That sounds really cool, actually. So, for you guys, has like, especially for like performing live, has the songs kind of either changed a little bit since you guys have been performing it, or the meaning of the song has changed a little bit, like since you've been performing it for, especially for the songs you've have had for a few years now?
I think the songs have definitely changed a bit. Like, for instance, when we recorded the first EP, like there's a guitar, like a little guitar riff I do on Ocean Tears that's not in the record because I hadn't come up with it yet, and I was fairly new in the band still at the time. So there's definitely some little parts that have changed. There's some parts that Zach used to play that I play now just because what I was playing, it's a little easier for him to sing and play those parts. So we've kind of like flopped a couple parts. And I mean, a lot of these songs were written before I got in the band, so they mean maybe a little bit of a different thing to me than Zach, who wrote them 3 years before he even knew me. But yeah, they changed. I think they changed a little bit. They evolve with time, and then they kind of get locked in and things like that.
That's why we went back into the studio after we got When I'm With You back from Trent. It wasn't because of anything really that he had done that we didn't like. It was just, we listened to it and Zach listened to how he sang it. And so we recorded that song in December, and then we kept playing it live like every weekend, twice a weekend for 2 or 3 months before, we heard the song again. And Zach had changed how he sang it, like for the better. He kind of settled into the song. We figured out that song only a month and a half or 2 before we actually recorded it. So it took even longer to, for Zach to kind of sing it exactly the way that he liked it.
That song specifically wasn't on the list of songs that we were planning or like debating to record when we went to the studio. And we started working it up, and we've been playing it at shows, and we're like, we have to record this song. And then it's going to be the first release. It was just one of those songs that we felt like came together really quick, and people seemed to like it, and so we're like, we have to do this one. So it's definitely one of our newer songs that has even been written.
Yeah, we went back in the studio. I re-recorded all the vocals for all 3 songs. So.
Oh yeah, you did all 3. I forgot.
It's really cool, especially for the process to go very smoothly, very quickly, and organically too. That was the original plan, but it's the final project you guys got out, and you guys are very happy with how everything turned out.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me more than definitely the most out of all the stuff we've released. This I'm completely happy with it, which feels nice.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, music, it's not only for people listening to it, but it's also for yourself. You have to be satisfied with yourself that you did the best job you could, and you're happy with the final product, the final song. You have to satisfy yourself and also the people listening as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like almost like if I'm going to write a song, it almost seems counterintuitive, or like it almost seems to work against me trying to think what other people will like, to the point where I almost have to just write a song that I like for me and hope other people enjoy it too,
Yeah, I got you. For sure that that's art. That's true art. You're staying true to yourself, and then people enjoy it. That's that's what you go for. If people like you staying true to yourself, making the art and making the music you like, then that's it's a win-win.
Yeah, it wouldn't work any other way. People eventually would find it out. People do. If you're not authentic, people eventually people are smarter in general than people think. If it's not exactly what you want to do and what you like, I don't know, maybe it'll still work for you for a time, but I would hate for us to ever do that. That would destroy me inside, all of us probably, to play anything other than something we absolutely like because we like it, not because we think other people would like it.
No, I got you for sure, and you're absolutely right. I mean, people definitely catch on if there's anyone being not authentic. Especially nowadays with the internet and everything, it's very easy to see.
It's true. And it's cool, like we write the songs that we like When I'm With You, for instance, and then we break them out at a random venue in Tulsa or Arkansas, and people like it. So that's cool. That's a cool feeling.
Yeah,
definitely. But hey, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on Super Cool Radio. I do got just a few more things before we wrap up. So for you guys, so obviously it's end of April, starting into March, or starting into May. Geez. What is the rest of 2023 looking like for you guys?
Right now, we've got a bunch of shows booked up through July, I think.
Yeah.
We just wrapped the shoot on a music video for When I'm With You. So we've got a couple releases, a bunch of shows lined up. I don't know what the rest of the year will look like for sure, as it's not booked yet, but tends to fill up, you know.
Yeah.
Very nice. I hope you guys have got some great shows lined up. Got some great music in the works as we've been discussing. So I hope the rest of 2023 goes very well for you guys. But if anyone's interested, where are the best places to find Like Before online?
We are at Like Before Band on Instagram. I think you can find us on Facebook by just searching Like Before, or maybe Like Before Band as well. Our website is likebeforemusic.com. Our music is streaming on all streaming platforms, and then we have our produced videos all out on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we try to stay very active online. I think I have 30 different login accounts for the band, so just it never ends nowadays.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But very good. I'll drop some links for Like Before in the description of this podcast as well. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on Super Cool Radio. Please check out support Like Before. Check out their latest single, When I'm With You, available April 29th as well. But guys, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having
Matthew.
Of course, for all of Like Before, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.